I created the button chair because I wanted to contribute something. At the time, I was 17 years old and couldn't financially contribute anything of major substance, and this was my way of contributing something more than time and effort. My mother has a store geared toward women with breast cancer, and I wrote a letter to her customers asking for their help in my quest, in my project, and was amazed at the overwhelming response from people. The buttons came from either the women themselves or their mothers, their daughters, their sisters, their husbands. It was just amazing that everyone wanted to get involved and make sure that their loved one was represented.
When we learned about the chair and why it was created, we really felt inspired by that information, and we also saw that this was an opportunity to take one woman's vision in creating the chair and help create something that would be a health education tool that could travel the state and really reach out to North Carolinians. We've been able to go through a whole refresh with the Breast Health Project. Now it's a more interactive exhibit. Instead of people just being able to view the button chair, they'll be able to now go up to certain stations around the button chair and actually interact. They'll be able to find out more information on early detection, screenings, mammographies, and they'll also be able to find out about health education around breast care that will relate to them. One of the things that we were able to add to the exhibit this time are the stories of 5 survivors across North Carolina. These women tell the story in their words of what it was like to go through hearing the first time about the fact that they had breast cancer.
If you let a disease beat you and you let it control your life, then it's going to win. If you fight it mentally, then you're going to be successful a lot of the time. And the scars are always there, so they remind you every morning. But you know, it's okay, because those scars have saved my life. So it's not, to me, a negative thing. And maybe it's just a good reminder to remind you, that the Lord's blessed you, you're here.
No sabemos cuánto tiempo tenemos aquí. Así es que cada minuto, cada hora, cada día tiene que ser bien especial en tu vida. Pero haber llegado a los 5 años es muy importante. Ya sobreviví 5 años, vamos a sobrevivir 5 años más, 10 años más, 15 años más.
The biggest joy of all is to see somebody in distress and let them look at me and say, if God can do it for her, He can do it for me. I'm the witness. You can see that I'm still here after 18 years. And I'm not going anywhere. I tell folk that if I die from breast cancer, it won't be that one. It'll be a different one, because this one is gone.
I think patients do relate to talking to me because I have had breast cancer. I'll say to people, the only way I got through this was one step at a time. And I encourage you to take this day and take tomorrow and take the next day. And each day you'll be stronger to deal with what you need to get through all this. And you will get to the other side.
We dwell on surviving and thriving, not the diagnosis itself, but what happens after you've been diagnosed. Life continues to go on. It's just your job to take the diagnosis, do what you can, and live your life fully.
At this time, I'd like to ask each of the survivors, along with Bob, Brooke, and Lee, to join us at the curtain for the unveiling of the new exhibit. Thank you for joining us this morning and being part of this important step in raising awareness and saving lives in North Carolina. Brooke, thank you for your vision, your power of one, and I know there are many people in this room that feel very much part of creating this exhibit and how it has now touched lives across North Carolina. And we ask you all to join us and explore the exhibit.
I think this exhibit is absolutely wonderful. It is beautiful, the stories are all moving, and I really do hope that they educate a lot of women and that we can save an awful lot of lives.
What a great way to alert the public as to the necessity of having the mammograms and the breast exams, and just to see a survivor should give them courage and hope and know that there is future, that there is life after the breast cancer.
We're very pleased to have the button chair back out there in the public view. It's a great opportunity to educate women about breast cancer, and what we hope is that kids are going to see it, adults are going to see it all across the state, and it's going to save lives.
Brooke has always been a creative child, and when the ladies would come by and donate a button, they would bring one button and only one, and she used all the buttons. She wanted to do something to honor the women in North Carolina who have had breast cancer, and this was her way of doing it. So it's a special, special chair.
It's so important for survivors to tell their stories. As I walked around it and listened to what the survivors had to say about their experiences, I was moved.
I would have never imagined the experience that I went through to create the chair would turn into this exhibit now. This is such a great tool and resource for people around North Carolina.
All the buttons have a story, and all the buttons tell a story of power and hope, and certainly of perseverance, and I think that they're all very special.